Hello and welcome back. Yesterday I fished all day long with Mule Fishing and the Aggressively Average Anglers guys, and I gotta be honest with you, I am out of it, I am tired, but I am also excited. We're back on the water. We're at the same lake we ended yesterday, and today I'm going to be doing something special. Today I've got the Monsterbass Lunkerstick Ultralight version. This is the rod that was designed by Jeff and Paul from Aggressively Average Anglers, and they gave one to me, so I felt like this would be a good opportunity to get out here and do my thing with it. You know, I've made a lot of ultralight rod videos, and this is gonna be the same deal. We're gonna go out there, we're gonna try to catch some fish, we're gonna talk about the action, we're gonna talk about what we like, we don't like, hopefully put a lot of flex in this rod, and then by the end of the video, you'll know if it's a good one for you. I say that, and I don't know that they're actually gonna make it moving forward from my understanding, but there are still some available. So, without further ado, let's go catch some fish. I'm gonna go up shallow. I'm just out here drifting around. It is absolutely beautiful this morning. Probably like 70 degrees, no wind, the sun is rising, and we have this nice, calm, beautiful water. I'm guessing we're gonna catch some bluegill, but I'm probably gonna play around and see what else we can catch. I gotta be honest with you, this is a jig I've never used. This is from Mule Fishing. He picked some of these up. He said that they used to be more available, and now a local guy makes some of them, so he picked some of them up, and they look really, really cool. Not sure what it's called, but it's got kind of like a flat looking head, and then it's just kind of got a pre-rigged, kind of like a real small plastic on there. It looks really good for bluegill, so we're gonna fling that thing around dock, see if we can catch some bluegill, and then we are going to hopefully put some good flex in this rod. Okay, I can wing this thing out there pretty good. That rod really does load down the backbone. This is a 6-foot ultralight, moderate fast, line 2 to 10 pound, lure 1/32 to 1/4. You know, the immediate impressions as far as balance go, this is a size 1000 reel. I think they did a great job with the balance of this rod. And then the aesthetics are fantastic. I love, love, love that like matte purple, that nice green color. It just looks really, really visually pleasing. And then I really, really like the reel seat. A nice cork grip here. In a lot of ways, it reminds me of the feel of kind of like my Dobbins as far as how it feels. A little bit different top right here. Actually, I prefer this. The Dobbins just has like a plastic, you know, it just threads on there. This one has like a nice little cover. It's like a hard plastic. It feels nice. It feels comfortable. So like I said, they call this a moderate fast. And I definitely agree with that. I feel like this definitely has a nice moderate fast action. You guys know I'm definitely a sucker for a fast action rod, but this feels really good. I would say it's more on the fast end than the moderate side, but I would say that that moderate fast gives you a little bit more flexibility in what you do. Based on the way this rod is loading, I feel like you could kind of fish for any species. It's definitely what I feel is going to be a versatile blank, is what I'm kind of feeling from this rod. Oh, how did he miss that? Oh. What? Oh no. That fish pulled that little pre-rigged plastic off of there. So now I don't even have like a little pre-rigged plastic on there anymore. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put a little mule minnow on there. Why not? That looks really good actually. That's a nice match. There, I finally got one. How about that? Maybe that little bit brighter color attracted them. I went for the chartreuse. That's actually pulling pretty darn hard. Look at that rod. You can see it's obviously got that moderate fast action. It's a pretty good bluegill, and he put up a nice fight on this rod. So if a bluegill like that's putting up a little bit of a fight, that tells you it's an ultralight, my friends. There you go. It's a beautiful little male bluegill right there. Back to it. Okay, well, adding the chartreuse plastic definitely helped because I finally got one to eat it all the way. I was having a ton of short strikes on that little... Oh, I'm still getting short strikes, mind you, but I literally had made like 1 or 2 casts with the chartreuse before he ate it, so that's good. I'm using some nano braid from Suffix. I don't remember what pound test. It might be like 3-pound test, so it does have pretty good castability, but really, the rod loads up nicely as well. So between the two, there you go, got another. Between the two, I'm able to cast this thing just fine. Yeah, he's turning sideways and he decides he doesn't want to give in so easily. Look at this one. How big we got? How big? Big old bluegill? Yes, sir. Nice little male bluegill, about the same size as the last one. Popped him pretty good there. Got some shoulders on him, not very long, but healthy fish, man. This place definitely has some healthy bluegill in it. And there you go, another gill right there. They're all roughly the same size. They're quality fish, they're not that big, and they're putting up a good fight. Gotta love it. First thing in the morning, we're catching bluegill on beds. I'm not gonna complain about that one bit. This one feels pretty good. None of them are just giving up, that's for sure. That is actually a really pretty one. He's got really good vertical bars on him. Look at those vertical stripes. That's neat. Nice pattern. Oh yeah, he thumped it. Thumped it pretty good, didn't he? Yes, sir. Yeah, this is fun. I think you guys can probably get a pretty good feel for how this rod loads. Again, if we put a little bit more flex in it on like a bass, that would be a little bit better test, but these gills are putting a nice test on this rod. And I gotta be honest, that might be one of my better ones right there. He's a little bit longer than the last couple I've caught. I think they like that brighter color. I'm telling you, I literally wasn't catching any fish. They were all short striking, even though the plastic was really, really small. They must be interested in that true chartreuse. And it's kind of fitting because this rod has more of a chartreuse color on it. So probably that's why they're eating the chartreuse. They're probably like, hey, you need to match your rod with your color, my friend. So now I just need a purple jig on there. Oh my gosh, that one feels pretty good. Or at least he wants to be big. Look at that. There you go. There you go. There you go. A bluegill that's jumping. A bluegill that decides he wants to jump and be a bass. Dadgum. Look at him. He's winching. He is just going down in that grass. Man, this is like a bassy bluegill right there. How about that, folks? How about that? There he is. That's definitely a pumpkin seed. I know there's a bunch of beds up there. This one's a little bit more aggressive. I just tried catching one off a bed up there and he just was finicky and not having it, but this one, he went for it. And this wind is just pushing me right down this bank. All right, see ya, buddy. That came out of nowhere. It just got windy quick. I'm not saying it's terrible, but for this style of fishing, it's not ideal. Jeff, while I have you, while I'm here, today's video is actually about the rod that you guys designed. Oh yeah? Give me your 10-second, maybe 20-second, just like, hey, here's the things about this rod that you're most excited about.
Super comfortable, really well balanced in hand. It's gonna feel really good. What? Split grip's really comfortable, good grip to it. Went with their premium reel seat. It's really lightweight, which it's an ultralight, it should be. So if you pair it with a nice reel, you're gonna have a nice balance all around. We like our custom accents, maybe you will too, purple and chartreuse. And we do have this chartreuse tip at the end for those sensitive bites. You can use that as a way to sense them, which is pretty neat. Took that from ice fishing. There's a lot of ice fishing rods that have tips like that. Overall, it's a moderate fast action, which is kind of perfect all around, but
yeah, definitely versatile.
Yeah, very versatile. So if you want to catch them on cranks, or if you want to catch them on, you know, straight shank jig hooks, any Texas rig, I mean, any of that stuff's going to work really well. And then fighting on chatterbaits and spinnerbaits. So I think it's a...
Can I have my rod back, Jeff?
No, it's a good all-around option. We're proud of it. Maybe you'll like it too.
Oh, of course. It's great. I'm really enjoying it. And it was really great for those bluegill on beds.
Oh, yeah.
Threw this little jig up there, nice. Caught them. It's a good time. All right, you go away with your fancy rig. Go. Ah! All right, see you, buddy. See ya. Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate you jumping in on the spot and talking about the rod. Tell you what, the wind is showing up, folks, so I am going to switch gears a little bit. I'm going to put this jig away, I think, and I might rig up, I'm going to rig up one of my Bronco blades. Just kind of cover a little bit more water. Maybe we can find ourselves a bass if we do that. Time will tell, but I think that the wind is picking up quick, and there's a chance that if it gets even more windy, it's just going to be miserable to try to fish those shallow beds. So, going to fish a little bit more actively, a little bit more aggressively, and we're gonna go from there. But all in all, so far, really enjoying the rod. I've kind of said it 100 times, but really definitely a versatility stick. I feel like you can do a lot of things with this. I like that Jeff kind of added some of the color to kind of why they did some of the things they did. I didn't even realize that the colored tip was actually motivated from ice fishing, which makes a lot of sense because I totally, now that I heard that, I can see it, because ice fishing rods do have that a lot. And it makes so much sense. I mean, think about times when you're vertical jigging, and that is a common thing to do with ultralight. If you are interested in ultralight fishing, you probably need to learn how to do some vertical jigging, especially if you're in a kayak or a boat. And I'll tell you, that little bit of that rod tip color could certainly help with that. All right, let's get back to fishing. I got to rig something else up. The fact that I'm doing this video on this rod and Jeff and Paul are just right back there makes it so much better, because I constantly hear them. The thing about Jeff and Paul is if you get a chance to fish with them, they can be a mile away and you still know where they are, because those two are constantly yelling and being weird, and honestly, it's really fun. They have a lot of fun on the water, and I appreciate the fact that they're always just themselves, and they're very goofy. They are very goofy guys, And you can always hear them coming, I'm telling you that. And I'm a loud person, so if I say that, that means something. All right, this is probably on the high side as far as how big of a lure I would throw on this ultralight, but this is a 1/16 ounce jig with that Bronco blade and the full-size donkey tail, so it's good to show a little bit of that versatility. We used a really small jig, now we're gonna use a little bit bigger jig, and we're gonna fish it in the wind, and we're gonna see if we can't cross paths with a couple of juvenile bass or something. Oh, that bass came out of nowhere and T-boned this thing. There you go, little juvenile bass, there you go. Get a little bit of a taste for how the rod does with a bass, and you can see that's where it gets a little fun. It's not a very big bass, but it's good for this rod. Ah! This is kind of what I was hoping to find, if I'm being honest. When I put on this little Bronco blade, little juvenile bass. Little guy like this comes out of nowhere in the wind and just pops it. And I was fishing it near these beds. This fish is probably up here kind of chasing bluegill around, some minnows as well. There's a ton of minnows in this lake, and that's why I went for this karma color. All right, see ya, buddy. Water snake, what's up, dude? Hey, I don't see very many snakes in Michigan. Look at that guy. Look at him go. Whoa. Even though I've only caught the one bass so far, I have nothing but confidence there's gonna be more. Oh, speak of the devil, little dink. He kind of just sucked it up, and I was able to feel him despite the wind and the dinky size. I was able to detect the bite, so that tells you something, I suppose. Man, I double hooked this fish. It's always weird when that happens. My hook came through and then came back through the opposite way. See ya, buddy. There's one. There you go. All right, look at that rod. There you go. No! Oh wait, okay, he's on. I thought he shook it somehow. I was like, where is he? But he just like came loose because he created a little slack by running towards me. I thought he came off for a second. I was scared. Oh man, there you go. We're kind of getting him in the weeds. Are we gonna land this fish or what? He is trying to get free. He's in that grass. There you go. All right, even in the thick weeds, I was able to haul this fish in. Not a bad bass. I don't expect to catch donkeys on ultralight. That's a nice bass right there. I like that. Now, it's not a monster bass, but it's, you know, it wants to be. How about that? All right. The plan worked out. We were able to catch a pretty decent bass on the rig. That's a healthy fish, beautiful fish. Let's get that fish right back. Hanging out outside of bluegill beds, probably chasing down minnows and bluegill, hanging out in the wind. There's another fish. All right, all right, all right. I gotta say, with this rod being pretty soft, you gotta give them a little bit of beef on the hook set in order to get that hook buried. And that's not a bad thing. It just means that you just have to be aware of the fact that the rod has quite a bit of flex down the backbone. So for like a moving bait like this in the wind, in the kayak, you got a lot of movement going on. When something bites, you really got to make sure you're bearing that hook. Oh my gosh, I saw him come up and smash that from behind. That was epic. And you saw that I reacted and I gave him a little bit of beef on the hook set. And that's okay. Just because you're using light gear doesn't mean you can't hook hard. You just have to be mindful of what gear you're using and then make sure your drag is set appropriately. And not a big fish, but that was an awesome bite. I was reeling it in. I saw all of a sudden a bass came up and just shook his head and grabbed it. It was a wild, aggressive bite. Small fish, aggressive bite. Good times. Okay, well, there's definitely some fish here. I'm telling you, I think the fish don't want to be too far from the bluegill beds. Seems like they're kind of pestering the bluegill right now. Is that another one? Oh my gosh, it's another one. It was like 3 seconds after it landed in the water. And that was a tiny bite, but I felt him, so there you go. There's definitely a group of fish down here. Not big ones, but fish. What I ended up doing was actually I tightened my drag a little bit on this reel to kind of offset that deep flex on this rod. Now, when it comes to equipment, whether it's ultralight or anything else, it's all about making sure your system pairs well together. So in this case, because this rod, I know that the second I get a bite, I'm going to have a pretty deep flex down the backbone on a hook set like that. And you can see, like I said, look, that's a pretty deep flex. It's coming down the backbone. But that's why I needed to tighten the drag a little bit. Now, if I hook a really big fish, and there's bass chasing this one in. If I hook a really big fish and I need to loosen my drag a little bit, I just need to remember that. But when it comes to fishing systems, whether it's ultralight or anything else, you really just need to make sure that you're catering your gear to your situation. So in this case, got a rod that flexes a good bit, tighten my drag a little bit. If I had a rod that was much stouter and faster, I might loosen my drag a little bit. And it's just all a matter of balancing things properly. Little bass, good times, man. This is great. I think what I'm gonna go ahead and do, I know you're probably gonna call me crazy, but I'm actually gonna re-rig again, just in the sense that I wanna continue to test this rod, talk about versatility, and then I think I might have seen some crappie up shallow, but they might have been bluegills, so let's go test that. That's not one of the giants, but that's a quality one. Yeah, that's a pretty good quality one. This is what I've been waiting to find, is some of these little bit larger bluegill. And that one's not giant, but it's like a 7-incher, I would say. And I saw some that would dwarf this one. So the question is, did we spook them too much? How much have they been fished? Can we make one of those big ones bite? I don't know. All right, see ya, buddy. Oh my gosh, that fish hooked himself. That fish hooked himself. He grabbed it and ran. That's a nice one. He's got some resistance. He's got some resistance. Guys, this is what it's about right here. Paul, bluegill, fishing pole. Good times, guys. I'm telling you, I thought I saw crappie up here, but I think what I saw was just some really dark bluegill. They know we're here, and they've also probably been fished a couple of times. There you go. The later in the spawning season you go, the less aggressive they get. And number one, it's probably they're tired. Number two, they've probably been fished a couple times. And here in Michigan, bluegill fishing is a very popular thing. So a lot of these bluegill beds, this is kind of the time of year people come and do it. And so you get on these beds, even if there's fish on them. If they've been fished 5 or 6 times, they get a lot less protective, we'll say. Anything else to say, Paul?
Yeah, look at that combo right there.
Ooh.
The perfect match. No, this is super fun. Got a good balance. I think this is a bass style handle. So the fact that we got like a full grip with like a really comfy handle that balances like that with a 1000, like this to me is like you could do anything.
It balances literally perfectly. So I agree. You guys both called it out. Hey guys, if you don't understand this by this point, balance with ultralight rods is super important. I've talked about it in every single video of an ultralight rod, and this one hits it. I mean, 1000 size reel is 99% of the time what you would use for ultralight fishing. Sometimes people like 2000, sometimes people want 500. 1000 is kind of like that happy size, and this one balances really well, so that's super important. And I would say, generally speaking, usually like a 6-foot rod length does balance well, but sometimes you find these rods that are tip heavy, and it is so frustrating. It immediately makes me not like a rod if it's tip heavy. I don't mind so much if it's a little butt heavy, but when they're tip heavy, it really throws me off. And that's just my personal style of fishing. So I always like to make sure I call that out. And in this case, very, very balanced, slight lean towards the butt, dialed. Oh, baby. Big old bass under the dock. I shot it under there, just going for whatever. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Okay, stay out of there, stay out of there. I have to horse him a little bit, so I gotta be careful here, but that's a pretty good one there. Okay, the rod's doing pretty well with this, so can't complain too much. I have to be a little bit careful with my line, but the rod is handling this just fine. Nice bass for ultralight, my friends. When you can winch them out from under the dock, I mean, it requires a little bit of experience, we'll say, and being able to play your drag properly, but at the same time, you just want a rod that's gonna be able to pull them out. And in that case, he was barely hooked, but we got him. And that is the first like fat fish that I've seen. That fish that does not look like a post-spawn fish. So who knows? That one might not have spawned yet. Not sure. Either that or it's just a fat male that's been feeding up. See ya, buddy. Oh man, like I said, I really like this rod for shooting docks. I think this will be just such a fun little crappie dock shooter, or whatever this is. Dock shooting pumpkin seed. That's a hybrid, pumpkin seed bluegill hybrid right there. And shot it under that dock, let it sink a little bit. Sure enough, sure enough. I just said my goodbyes to Jeff, Paul, and Debo. It's been a really nice weekend, and I'm gonna head back to the ramp. I think I could probably fish a little bit more, but quite honestly, I'm ready to see my family. A long day on the water yesterday, a short little trip this morning, but a great time nonetheless. This rod right here is really cool. So Jeff and Paul obviously put a lot of work into it. They've got a lot of passion for the project that they did. And I have to be honest with you, I don't even think they're making this anymore in the future. There's some left, so you can get one if you want one, but this wasn't necessarily about selling a rod. It was all about just kind of talking about the thought processes involved in ultralight fishing, some of the things that are important. So if you like this rod and it's not available while you're watching this, I would say another rod that is very similar in a lot of ways would be a Temple Fork trout and panfish. This rod and the TFO are both versatility focused sticks. I think that 6 foot length is a great length to where you can do just about anything with it for any species, any technique. So I would definitely suggest that as an alternative. That being said, this rod is really cool. I think it looks really neat. It's one of the coolest looking rods that I've ever fished with, which is, you know, bonus points for that. And I had a good time out here, you know, catching bass, catching bluegill. Never did find the crappie, but I really do think that this is gonna be a really awesome crappie stick. Anyways, if you wanna see more ultralight fishing gear content, ultralight fishing in general, make sure to stay tuned, make sure to click subscribe. I really do appreciate it. Otherwise, have a great day. We'll catch you next time.